Gopal sir, or Ashok
Yes,
sir?
so yeah.
Sorry?
Okay, so yeah, can be 50 minutes, 45 to
Okay.
50. Yeah,
Okay,
45 to
now
50.
3:51. Okay, so I'll go until 4:40, something like that. Okay, thank you, sir.
Biswa sir,
Um,
just a pause, just a pause.
yes,
If you have, if there are any questions regarding the participants, Gopal sir and me will be helping for you in between. Thank you so much.
sure. Thank you, sir. Sure. Okay. Um, so today I'm talking about the American English courses to teach grammar communicatively. Uh, grammar, teaching grammar communicatively. Let me break it down. Uh, Communicative teaching and grammar teaching and resources and American English resources. So let me move forward, and before that I have here the americanenglish.state.gov site here, and this is very important uh, uh, address to know. So you may take a screenshot of this or write down this one. Uh, so uh, okay, now it's moving. Okay, it was not moving, my screen was not moving. Okay, let me just take it down. Okay, just moving it down. Okay, so the type of class I mean the language level of this class I hope is mixed or upper intermediate and advanced. Most of us have advanced level, and the topic is American English resources to teach grammar communicatively. And the communicative objectives of this lesson are the participants will be able to identify 4 types of communicative uh, activities to teach grammar. For example, games, pair work, role plays, stories, project work, etc. And search and find the communicative activities at the American English site. I have a note for you here. So you may use the Bloom's taxonomy for writing communicative objectives, which is very useful, and you may find it in a simple Google search. So I just have 2 objectives because I want to achieve the objectives, and the communicative objectives should be achievable and should be realistic, and they should also have the quality of solving day-to-day or life-related problems. For example, if I mention here number A, no 4 types of communicative activities, then I would not be able to measure how my participants will how I measure my participants actually know or not, or they can actually work on that or not. And if they identify, and I can have activities to assess their learning skill and knowledge, and I can find out that they have identified like 4 or 5. It's specific. See the word identify and 4. I could have written here identify types of communicative activities. I made it specify. I made it very specific. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about communicative objectives. So moving to next one. Okay. Before I start a story from an ELT professional, I would like to ask you to think yourself, what kind of activities do you use generally to teach grammar? You may write in the chat box, please. Are you writing? What kind of activities do you use to teach grammar?
pair, role
Yeah,
play,
I see. Yeah, some here. Thank you.
yeah, dialogue,
Yeah,
buddhi says
thank you. That's great, sir. Thank you. So, okay.
group.
So, teacher, this is a story from me. This is a teacher texted me on my messenger and inquired about her not getting any physical paper printed copies of English teaching form delivered to her school. She tried to convince me that the magazine is a great resource. Sorry, saying that she used the ideas from there for her regular classes, teacher service exams, writing articles, and even provide teacher trainings. And I thanked her for sharing that. And later I told her that we stopped purchasing the physical copies, and as the electronic copy is available as soon as it gets printed, and we can get the past issues also. It is very easy to access and download. And I shared the website, and later I received a thank you sir text from her. So this is a small experiential story that I shared. So here are some discussion questions. So you may write in the chat box that what kind of activity is this I just did. So if we look at here, I have some options here, and you're writing, I'll go, okay. Conversation dialogue, that's good. Conversation dialogue, okay. You can write your own idea, or you can write any of these from here. Role play games, a real story, that's good. Contextual matter, real story, funny story, great. Okay, real story. Talking over phone, great. Real story, texting message. Okay, thank you everybody. Yeah, this is, as you said, kind of a real story, and talking on phone also, or messenger. And what grammar items is mainly covered in the story here? What grammar item? Okay, here. You may write here in the chat box. Okay, simple past, past tense, report speech, simple present, past and present tense, past tense, great, passive, past tense, report speech, article, that's good. Planning. Planning is not a grammatical item, I think. We may say, you could say future, use of tenses, connective. Okay, causative, report. That's great. Thank you everybody. So let me move forward. Yeah, as you said, we can use this kind of story to teach different kinds of grammatical items, and you just focus on whatever you are dealing with. Okay, so I have a tip on communicative activity. For example, the activities must include information gap and creativity components, and a real life problem solving engagements, which must be meaningful and situational. For example, you dyed your hair black versus where or how can I dye my hair, or where or how did you dye your hair black? Because the latter one seeks more information or provide information. If you just uh, talk only for the sake of talking, there is no learning, there is no information gap, there is no real solution of the problem, then it's not communicative way of learning and teaching. So there has to be something that actually helps solve the problem. or issues, or provide more information. That's why sometimes we love to say I+1. So I means whatever information we have, and 1 means step by step. We add bit by bit information. So it's necessarily it's not necessarily an activity only for communication. Communication is different, and communicative approach is different. So if you'd like to know more, you may go to the linguistics.com/method.htm, and you may find a lot about the communicative activity approach, and also so many different approaches of language teaching. So there's another tip about the activities and resources. What kind of activities, resources are good or suitable activities? I often got this kind of question by so many teachers while visiting their classes. And I would advise you all that the activities students can do and they need to do are suitable activities. For example, this would be physically suitable, socially suitable, culturally suitable, spatially suitable, mentally suitable, academically suitable, financially suitable, and are interested in doing. The students should also be interested in doing. If they don't have interest, but you feel that they should do, then that doesn't work. So you should not include that kind of activities. And for example, you may design activities that are related to the theme, topic, and engagement of the lesson and objectives. Let's say I remember maybe I don't remember the title of the text clearly. There is a student Mazi, something like that, in a story, I think class 10 book. There used to be. And for that, you may have various activities. You may ask students to find locally available resources to collect fish, or to collect any other food items, or how to make those kind of baskets that way. Or you can ask them to do similar activities, or maybe project work. So those can be relevant activities. And I also would like to stress on that the activities should be smart ones. S being specific to situation or objectives of whatever you are teaching, and should be measurable. As I said in the second slide, that if I write my objective as a no, then I would not be able to measure. If I write identify 5 or 4, then I can measure exactly what I'm going to measure. And achievable. If you are very much like idealistic in writing the objectives, or the having the activities which are not achievable, then not uh, it's not good to have those activities. It just wastes your time, resources, and energy. And they should also be authentic, with authentic materials and activities, and situational as well. And they should be realistic. If something is not realistic, but still you want to have the activity, then that's of no use. And it should also be pragmatic. Pragmatic is rather a very high kind of situation. Let me say it should be more situational, and it should be also time bound. It cannot go on and on and on. It should be finished in within certain time. For example, if you design an activity for 5 minutes, it should be completed in 5 minutes, or maximum, let's say, 4 or 6 minutes. So it should be very specific in terms of time bound also. So moving to next, what should a teacher do for the communicative activities? So the teacher must give instructions very clearly to the participants of the activity of the, the learners. And first make a very make them very clear, and then only give ask students to start on working on the activity. And equally important aspect is that the teachers should not distract the students while they are working on, because the students might be distracted, or there would be some disruption in the work, and it may take more time, or it may be focused out. So however, the teacher must monitor and take notes to provide feedback later. Or if students ask some question, the teacher goes and uh, provides support. So that's that. And going to the next slide, uh, the level of activities. Yeah, I also got the questions about what um, should be the level of activities. As I said, it should not be too much idealistic one. So it should depend on the student's language level. For example, if the students are advanced level, then you may give them activities, for example, doing a great drama, or writing essays, um, or doing project work or research. If the student's level is very low, then you may ask the students to write, for example, very basic essay, giving guidelines, maybe let's say 200 words or 500, something like that. So it also depends on the students' interests also, what they want to do. And for example, I have a kind of a continuum. It's not a kind of grouped continuum, but I have like step by step. For example, question answers to dialogues. And then if you want to go up, then it could be interviews or skits, drama, and or surveys to debate, or showing pictures to designing posters. And also if you would like to go above, then you can ask them to make a marketing leaflet or information packet or book. And also fill in the gaps to fill out a form, like for example, you can have an activity that the students are traveling, and then they for example miss their luggage. I mean, the airline misses their luggage, and then they need to fill out a form. So you can have this kind of activity, or you can have a form to get admission into a college or a hotel. So those kind of activities you can give. And or ask them to prepare a poster, and also ask them to describe the poster, or have the gallery walk session, and so on. So these are some of the activities and levels. Any questions so far? You may write in the chat box, please.
Not yet, sir. Please, you can move further.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So next, I also would like to throw some light on grammar translation method, because it used to be very popular in terms of practice, and in terms of theory, it is not very popular now. But so many teachers are doing this, because I am not against this one. This is also kind of a useful one. But I just wanted to tell you that communicative approach is much more better than this one. So so many people are following the communicative approach. So grammar translation method uh, uh, usually um, adapts the method that the source language is translated into the direct language, or the target language, and also use structures. Some times uh, we also say that it's structuralist approach. So instead of, for example, using the formula, subject, verb, object kind of skeleton and putting words there, it might give different undesired or um, irrelevant kind of situational meaning. So we advise to use communicative approach often. For example, sometimes subject verb object agreement could also be letter writes Ram, which is not situationally correct. It could be Ram writes a letter. So there is a high chance that students might mismatch the um, the doer and uh, the objects, the subjects and objects. So if we train students to use the authentic and actual language, then there is high chance that the students will be able to learn correct language easily and fast. I also have a note here. You may use the Bloom's taxonomy for writing uh, the yeah the communicative activities and also the objectives, and you may follow your activities, designing activities. And let me give some lights on grammar also. Grammar, it does not exist without vocabulary and our syntax and our meaning. And language makes grammar, not vice versa. For example, grammar just grammar doesn't make language. The language, the situational communication makes grammar, and you may understand the communication of the information or the knowledge. So, however, the grammatical items, the grammar items, are necessary in sentence and words to make sense and to understand the meaning clearly. If we use, let's say, verb, past form of verb, then we understand the meaning accordingly. So there's a very big role of grammar to change the meaning. So, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in isolation. That's my point. So, I will request the participants to write in the chat box why do you think teaching communicatively is beneficial for students. I mean, not only grammar, teaching speaking or writing or vocabulary, whatever, communicatively is beneficial for students. Let's see your responses. Why it is beneficial for students.
It helps them to learn the language. Tejrat Vishwakarma says. Buddha Gimiri says makes them more creative.
Be active, Vishnu Paudel, okay, creative.
Gita Kafle says fast. Biraja to
Develops
create good
interaction,
environment in
Gopal.
class.
Indrawali, to keep the learning sustainable. Gita Kafle, learn fast. Critical thinker, Kusal. Beg Bahadur, to make class interactive. Krishna Prasad Marasini, because language is meant for, that's great. And develop 4 skills altogether, that's great. Ram Bachal. And creates live event. Sovana, to be active, creative, good listener. Balram, use language in real situation. Gita Kafle, Tulsiram, to increase critical thinking. Dinesh, easy to learn. Vishnu Bahadur Mukhya, develop speaking skill. Speaking is paramount. Sorry, encourage to learn. Viva Jha. Okay, that make student creative and communicative. IMED. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Let me, yeah, you have great ideas here, and I have some here. Okay, this is a learning-centered one. So learning-centered and learner-centered can be different. Learning-centered means it focuses on the learner's physical and mental activities. They focus on learning, and it's a learner-centered. It's also physical one and mental. It engages them physically and mentally, and so it includes real life tasks or engagements and activities. For example, creating a menu, or creating a map of the city, or creating creating a, let's say, uh, a dialogue between uh, having a dialogue between a, tourist and the tourist guide, and it's a holistic approach. It integrates all skills. Many of you have written it there, and it's a contextual, meaningful, and it also is a pragmatic, more situational, and it includes smart activities. I want to uh, focus on these smart activities, reiterate this one, because this is very important to know and to have designing the activities and objectives in communicative approach. And it also includes authentic resources and context. It's a kind of immersion in the authentic culture, activities, and engagements. And learners learn grammar, rules, or use, for example, automatically in context as necessary. And um, the participants develop fluency and accuracy for sustained, natural, inductive way in learning. So Vishnu Bahadur Mukhia just wrote that, but communicative approach has been problematic for the students who have very poor linguistic background. That's, yes, sir. That's why I advise to use the appropriate level of language and appropriate level of activities. It is difficult to use communicative approach in large classes, yes, but we can have various groups. For example, we can have project works, we can have posters, we can have, let's say, group discussion or peer work, or we can have activities to address those kind of problems. The important issue is we just need to learn more. Teachers need to be uh, more active, and should learn continuously and do more action-based research, and then find the applicable activities. So moving to the next slide. So if you have been using laptop, please go to this American English site. The site is all the way down in the bottom here, americanenglish.state.gov, and click the YouTube link, YouTube, and go to videos. Sort the videos by the most popular category. Search teaching grammar communicatively, and note down any 3 resources fetched by the system and share them on the chat box. If you are using your mobile phone, I think it's difficult to swap to this site. But one thing that you can minimize this Zoom window and go and open the americanenglish.state.gov site, and uh, 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 do this activity, and then come back to Zoom, and then write your response here. So this is the screenshot of the American English site. So I have here red arrow. So you go all the way to second tab and all the way down to YouTube and click there. And then you may get this this page that will redirect you to this YouTube site, American English YouTube site, or let's say YouTube channel of American English. And then you sort your, just move this, oh, sorry. Okay, you just sort from here, from this red arrow shows, like sort, you first go to videos, and then, sorry, and then sort here, and you find, you'll see so many videos here, like special webinar event, educational technology. So I'll give you 3 minutes for this. It's 4:22. Okay. If you have already done this, you may write in the chat box. Please feel free. And I'm showing you the site here, American English site, how to go. Okay, I'll go to the chat box to see what you're writing here. Okay, American English Register.gov and resources, YouTube, and then videos, and then sort, and then oh, sorry, I shouldn't write here. Sorry, I was, okay, resources, YouTube videos. And you search teaching grammar communicatively there. Okay, thank you everybody. Let me move forward for the time's sake. I know you've been doing, and some of you are facing problems because of the connectivity. Okay, so I have another practice here. Go to the American English site, the same site, and go to English Teaching Forum and click find, oh, it's like, current issue, and download an article titled "What Should I Do?" And it is here. So AmericanEnglish.state.gov, this third tab shown by yellow arrow, and then you go to this current issue, and then I have shown here by yellow arrow here, you may go to downloads, and you see their cover and back cover, and then down below there are table of contents. If you scroll down as shown here, table of contents, and then what I just asked you to do is go to this what should I do, shown by red arrow. Yeah, this red arrow. And you will be able to download that article. And this article has some communicative activities too. So this article has utilized communicative activities, and also has talked about communicative activity in a classroom. Thank you, and I would like to move forward. So practice number 3. Again, go to americanenglish.state.gov and search articles, resources from the main page for teaching grammar communicatively, and write in the chat box how many hits did the search bring, and write on the chat box what typical activities on the, just close this. Okay, on the title of the articles are mentioned to teach grammar communicatively. So this is the screenshot. Okay, screen of this activity. So when you go to the site and there is a search box, you can see here highlighted in blue box, the search icon here, and then you type their teaching grammar communicatively, and you will find this result here. And in my search, I received how many here? 47, 42, is this the number? I just got something here on the screen. Yeah, 17, 12. 17, 12 results. See? So these, you can find so many articles here about teaching grammar communicatively. And one more information for you all participants, we have a massive open online course on teaching grammar communicatively. You may go to this site, americanenglish.state.gov, and then go to MOOCs, and then find that course. And we also have eTeacher on teaching grammar communicatively. And for that, you need to apply. If you have not done eTeacher course before, you are a potential candidate for that, but you have to fill out a form and undergo through the selection process. So this is all about the resources from the American English site. And let me move forward. I see here comments are, the responses are coming on. Yeah, somebody, Tarkarat Sarma wrote so many videos, are interesting videos. Vivas are done. What should I do? Okay. Yes, I found, sir. That's great. Thank you so much for your responses here. Now, to add to your responses, the communicative activities include, okay, the below and more that you found in the American English site. For example, inductive and real life engagements like role play, for example, farmer and agriculture, expert, journalist, customer. So you can ask students to be one of these persons, and then write about them, act of them, or do the activities that typically they would do. And storytelling, project work, playing games, board games, electronic games, or online games. Now I think the age of online game has come. So environment through gaming. And we can ask the students to do skits or drama or information gap activities, for example, question answers, uh, and also critical and creative thinking activities. Again, to reiterate, the activities must be situational, doable by the students and teachers and by the resources also, and applicable in their real life situation. So to know more, you may go to this site again. I think by now you all know by heart that americanenglish.state.gov. And I would like to stress that whatever resources you find there, you can download them all and use them in your regular classroom, in your training, in your teacher training, in your whatever article writing or so. But one thing you cannot do is you cannot sell this. uh, that's the most important part. So otherwise you can do it for academic purposes. And I have some other list. I have a list of some other resources here for listening, speaking, reading, and writing, vocabulary, grammar, peer-reviewed academic research articles, and best classroom practices, ready-to-use classroom activities from americanenglish.state.gov. I think if you I know in our audience today, there are so many trainers, and I know you have reported me that you have used the English Teaching Forum articles for so many years in so many training sessions, and the lighter site is a really interesting one. So I think once you try the lighter side of uh, uh, from English Teaching Forum, I think you will you'll use this often. And we have some other professional development short-term courses, online courses, e-teacher course, MOOCs, American English Live, webinar, and I know there's the NELTA colleagues, they have been attending and they have been hosting the American English webinars. The webinars happen on every other Wednesday, uh, Nepal time, 5:45
It's
p.m.
today, sir.
Yeah, today is one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandeep sir. And I will encourage you if you have time. And today's session is really interesting one. I think something like technology integration. And we have some other exchange programs, state alumni engagements. If you have done e-teacher course, or if you were an access teacher, or if you are, if you uh, if you were at the exchange program, like I know Ashok sir did teaching excellence achievement, and in audience there are so many like um, Ashok sir and Gopal sir, that you are alumni and you can apply for AEIF grant. You just need to go to exchanges.state.gov. I have the website address later. So there are so many different resources apart from the American English resources to teach grammar communicatively or any skills communicatively. So these are the websites. I think I will add here exchanges.state. Oh, okay. I think I just stopped it. Let me just add one here. Exchanges.state.gov. And also alumni.state.gov. Let me add that one. .gov. Okay. I'm sharing this. Just a moment, please. Ashok sir, is my
Yeah,
screen visible?
yes, sir. We can see your screen, and you can make it full if you can make it up slide full, or you can make a slideshow.
Okay. Okay. Oh no, it's coming from the very beginning. Oh. Okay, so this one I just talked about alumni.state.gov. If you're an alumni, you may find more information pertinent to your uh, uh, interest or project, and exchanges.state.gov for e-teacher course and many other opportunities. And for US Embassy information, you may go to this site, US Embassy, np.usembassy.gov, and also get connected through Facebook and get the updates, and also americanenglish.state.gov. And if you have any questions, I think I have 5 more minutes. Please
Yes,
write on the chat.
continue.
Yeah, any questions?